Welcome back to the AIS as the sun sets on the elimination final and Canberra FC's participation in the competition for 2019. We're now set for the qualification final, Canberra Olympic versus Tigers FC. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me as he did for the first game, Steve Forshaw. Steve, two teams now, they know what's waiting for the loser. They'll be playing Gungahlin United here next week, for the winner a week off and a chance perhaps to regroup. You'll see on your screen some other teams walking out. The women's qualification final, Canberra FC Belco, will take place on the far field as well. We'll keep you up to date with that one as we did in the first game. But the men's competition we're looking forward to now. Tigers FC, no Lawrence Redmond, injured. Darren Bailey suspended. Big changes in their defence, which we'll talk about in just a moment at all. Canberra Olympic swept them aside at O'Connor, didn't they? 4-0, and it could have been a lot more. What have Tigers got to do over the last 2 weeks to make it a different scoreline today, and can they do it?
Look, it's a big ask. The bubble seems to have burst at the Tigers with the run into the final series, not the greatest in terms of their results. They haven't scored, they've conceded goals, they've been largely outplayed by most of the teams that they've come up against in those last 2 or 3 games. And today they're up against an Olympic side that's in red-hot form. So for them to turn it around, they've certainly got a lot of work to do. Defensively, they look weaker than when we last saw them with the loss of Bailey and Redmond. It's a makeshift back four. That's not what you need when you're going into an important game like the semi-final. It's added incentive today for both teams to actually win, because I don't think either of them would fancy playing Gungahlin in a knockout game next week, given the performance that Gungahlin have just put on, particularly in the second half. So from an Olympic point of view, it's about really putting this game to bed early and as quickly as possible. From a Tigers point of view, and I hesitate to say it, but it's about staying in the game for as long as possible.
Third game between the two this season, round 9, Tigers 4, Olympic 1, Mark Shields hat-trick, Nico Abbott with the other goal there, Seb Woods pulling one back for Olympic. And in round 18, as I said, the championship decider, Dominici twice, Danning and Popovic, the scorers in a comprehensive Olympic 4-0 win, which gave them the title by 5 points, their 8th premiership of their history. 6 times champions, 6 times Fed Cup winners as well. Tigers only ever won the premiership once in 2014. Twice they've run the grand final series, the last in 2012 when they beat Belconnen 2-1. To do that again, they will need to do something they haven't done for 405 minutes, and that's find a goal. That's how long it's been since they scored. It was a Hussein Farej strike a minute into the second half of round 14's 2-0 win over the Riverina Rhinos. Since then, goalless against Canberra FC, goalless against Gungahlin United, goalless against Hume City, and goalless against Canberra Olympic. A lot of football played for not much reward. What they've done, and what I can tell you they've done to try and change that when we go through the teams as they come out, is Lachlan Cam will start for Tigers today up front. Young 18-year-old, given an opportunity, and often it's these situations, Steve, where those kind of players, and I imagine that Canberra Olympic wouldn't have prepared for him because they probably haven't seen him.
That's very true. I mean, he could well be the surprise package of the game. It's a big ask for an 18-year-old to come round and shoulder the burden of scoring the goals for them, but they really need to take some of the pressure off Mark Shields, who's played a lone Farrow up front since the move on of Nicholas Abbott. But if you can't supply the strikers and get them into good positions with good service, then you're not going to score goals. And it's that area of the pitch that I think will be letting Tigers down today. They're going to be under a lot of pressure for a lot of the game. They're not going to have a lot of possession. I don't see them having a lot of possession. I think Olympic will dominate possession, and it really is how well they defend as a team, as a unit, that'll keep them in the game for long periods of it. If Olympic get off to a flying start, get an early goal or two, then this could really be a game that blows out and becomes very ugly for the Tigers quite quickly.
We're a little bit behind schedule as the teams come out onto the park. Olympic in the blue shirts and blue shorts, and Tigers in their traditional yellow. Let's have a look at the two sides. Frank Keisha's team lines up in a formation that is very familiar to those who watch local football. 4-2-3-1. Rory Larkin in goal. The back four of Nick Faust and Jay Kelly wide. Lasse Ulrich and Nathan Medjic in the centre of defence. Daniel Sparrow and Andrei Janchevsky in front of them. Then a line of 3. Michael Piccolo, Kofi Danning, Nick Popovic, Stephen Dominici up front, the leading goal scorer, and Golden Boots.
Yeah, it's a powerful lineup, isn't it? It's got goals, it's got creativity, it's strong defensively, it's got a very, very mobile and energetic midfield. It really ticks a lot of boxes. And it's a settled lineup to go with all that. It's not very often that you see wholesale changes at Olympic. Week to week they can put out the same sort of group of players near enough. I know Frank was saying during the week that it's the first time they've been able to put the same 11 on the park, but they don't have to make a lot of changes, and the changes they do make are usually quite effective. So, great lineup, very strong, worthy minor premiers or champions, and they're coming up against a team that they've just comfortably beaten 4-0. They'll be confident.
By contrast, Tigers FC all changed for Gabby Wilkes' team, 4-4-2 as usual, but a change in formation and personnel as well in those positions. Jacob Cole in goal. The back four will be Tony Spaseski at right back, Michael Gurney at left back, and the Argentinian access of Jose Di Felipe and Naul Guerrero in the centre of defence. Marco Keita and Goran Jozovski tasked with the creativity in the middle of the park. Jared Tanini and Hussein Farej providing the width. Mark Shields partnered up front by Lachlan Cam.
Yeah, it's an interesting selection. Obviously, with the loss of Redmond through injury and Bailey through suspension, they've had to make some changes to the back four. I'm pleased to see Michael Keita in a midfield role. I think that's his best position, and I think he can actually help them get something out of the game if that's in fact what's going to happen. Up front, they've got the unknown quantity. We know Mark Shields capable of scoring. We've got the unknown quantity in young Lockie Cam. So with a little bit of luck and some perseverance, then Tigers can cause what I think will be an upset today.
Nathan Shakespeare is your match official. We'll be hoping he won't be writing any sonnets in his notebook.
Oh.
Greg Taylor and Scott Boone on the line. Looking forward to this one. The winner progresses to the grand final. Whoever loses gets a second bite of the cherry against an on-fire Gungahlin United next week. And that is a proposition that I guess neither of these sides would be looking forward to.
Well, no, you won't be looking forward. You'd want to go straight through. I think Gungahlin are in such good form that you don't want to risk being knocked out so close to a grand final. Having said that, if you lose today, you'll be looking forward to the game next week.
Well, the question I was going to ask you, Steve, like I did at the end of the last one, is this a good thing to win, to have a week off, or does momentum help you build? What's your thoughts?
Look, it depends on the group of players that you're working with, and some players prefer to have the week off. Some, it does interrupt the momentum and can be a distraction. But I think with the Gungahlin sitting in the stands waiting to see what happens today to go next week, I think both teams will be wanting to go straight through, and they'll risk taking the week off.
We'll find out in 90 minutes, or a bit extra if we need it. Canberra Olympic attacking the goal to our left in the first half, into the shadows as the sun sets behind Jacob Cole's goal. Might get the lights on before the end of this one, do you think?
Oh, I think so.
Beautiful day for it. Quite warm, the sun today. Early ball forward, and the first involvement for Lachlan Cam up against Lasse Ulrich today. Dominici and Popovic combining. Dannings peeled to the right. Early ball in. A bit of trouble for Spaseski. Might go for Dominici, and the first shot took 36 seconds. Straight down the throat of Jacob Cole.
It was, but there's ominous early signs.
Well, Tony Spaseski got it caught under his feet there, didn't he?
He did.
There's Kelly volleying it forwards. And another nervy touch from Spaseski, playing out of position at right back today. He's had a good season at central defence alongside Lawrence Redmond, who's twisted an ankle apparently.
It's an interesting change, really is, because, I mean, you lose a player or two, but you've made several changes to compensate, and you don't really know how that's going to pan out for you.
Magic. Looks for Danning. Gurney's his shadow, free kick. Little shirt pull, I think.
Well, the one thing that, you know, young players like Gurney, who's come in for probably his first start this year, I would have thought, and Cam, if they can bring a lot of enthusiasm, that can take you a long way.
Magic sneaks one down the line to Danning. Ball swung in towards the far post. Di Felipe gets a touch on it. Tanini sends it away. Dominici. Kelly. Sparrow. Early signs are that Olympic are going to enjoy a lot of possession. Magic looking for Dominici. And he flicks it into Tanini. Half-hearted appeals for handball. Stephen Dominici perhaps thinks he should have had more.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this angle, and Nathan Shakespeare is very close. So we go with a corner, but it's an encouraging start from an Olympic point of view.
It's pretty much where they left off 2 weeks ago in the first half, second half of that performance, where they secured the league title with a dominant display.
The Tigers are going to have to call on every ounce of resilience to sort of keep themselves at level.
Danning with the first corner of the afternoon. What's the delivery like? It swung to the near post. It was met by Farej. Danning wanted to go early, but couldn't get the ball under control.
No, it's the Nathan Lyons run out, wasn't it? That?
Couldn't get it there. Jay Kelly to take the throw. Launches it into the area, but only as far as Di Felipe. Kelly gets a second chance. Switch of play towards Faust. He'll do well to keep that in. Here's Piccolo. Janchevsky swings towards Popovic. That's handball, surely, against Nick Popovic.
Yep. Yes.
Early signs, though, are Olympic have come to play.
Oh, yes. And, they're dominating the early possession, but so far so good for Tigers. They've withstood a number of set pieces. The early shot from Dominici hasn't caused the goalkeeper too much problem, so if they can just get a foothold in it, they're a bit of a chance.
Magic brushes Cam off the ball and looks for Popovic, who's stolen in behind here. Here's Di Felipe.
Does well.
Started well as central defender.
Yeah, he does well. I mean, it's really important that they keep Popovic and Dominici in particular quiet. If they're going to get anything out of it at all, they'll need to make sure that they can't work their magic, and the indications thus far are that it's going to be quite a battle.
In towards Janchevsky. Might come for Sparrow. He tries his luck from range. We've seen some spectacular goals already today. Daniel Sparrow trying to hook one towards goal. No problem for Jacob Cole. Both these sides had contrasting ends to the season, as we mentioned. Plenty of goals scored by Canberra Olympic in their last 3 rounds. 13 of them in 3 games. We'll be looking to add to that tally today. Stephen Dominici with 18 in all competitions this season. It's a decent return. It's Piccolo. Nice feet. Finds Popovic. Another free kick. Blown a lot early, Nathan Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Kelly. Dominici. Kelly again. Looks for Popovic. Tries to go inside. And Guerrero's there to cover. Di Felipe just hooks it into touch. Do you think there's a question of Frank Kesher going, well, let's get out there at them early and make them remember that game 2 weeks ago?
Oh, absolutely. It would have been, let's keep the momentum rolling forward. It's really important that you don't give them a sniff and let them back in.
Jozefovski,
that's yours,
the
Russ.
latest to foul. It almost was mine up here on the roof. Jozefovski bundles over Sparrow. Another free kick.
It's a tactic that'll slow the Olympic momentum down, and it won't allow them to get the continuity, but it'll backfire for sure, because sooner or later they'll get some quality in the box and it'll be 1-0.
Kelly will look to provide that. Swings it in. Spaseski slices it again. Keita just smacks it anywhere. Cam is a lonely figure up front, but it's found him. And it should be easy for Faust to go back. First touch of the afternoon for Rory Larkin. He won't be enjoying the sun at the moment, as it dips down into his face. Gurney with a header. Keita for Jozefovski. Loose ball picked up by Kelly. Here's Dominici. Looks for Popovic. Janchevsky. Piccolo. And Keita snuffs that move out before it can keep going, but it's back again. It's a blue wave at the moment. Here's Danning. Faust. What can he deliver in towards the penalty area? Di Felipe, another clearance. Tigers just can't get the ball at the moment. Here's Sparrow. Hustling from Shields and Jozefovski. Magic. Sparrow. And Jozefovski for the Tigers. Can they keep the ball for a couple of passes? No is the answer, as Piccolo gives him no space.
I mean, out of possession, Olympic worked really hard. We saw it in the Gungahlin game when they won comfortably against Gungahlin. And the midfield swarms forward and puts pressure on. And they've started the same way here against a Cooma Tigers team that's not doing itself any favours with some rush clearances and some panicky play.
When you do make wholesale changes in terms of not the players, but the way their positions are on the field, it probably does take them a while, Steve, to gel into those new positions?
Yeah, it will. It'll take them probably 10 or 20 minutes to actually settle into it, but it's such a risky thing to do. And sometimes you don't have any choice through absenteeism, but, at a semi-final stage of a competition, it's a risk you'd rather not be taking.
Popovic looking to try and create something out wide. It's one side of throw. Here's Faust. Steps inside one challenge. Looks for Dominici. Good clearance from Spaseski. Now here's a chance for young Cam to perhaps stretch his legs. Lasse Ulrich comes across. It's been a good acquisition this year, the big Danish centre-back.
Yeah, he's a decent player. Reads the game well. Not overly blessed with pace, but he does read the game extremely well.
Spaseski finds Tonini. First chance to see the Tigers as an attacking force. In towards Shields. Slides it through for Cam, and the flag goes up and denies the youngster what would have been a dream start to the first team football.
I mean, talk about against the run of play, but at least there's some signs that they've got something in them up front. I mean, that was just a tad unlucky. It was a great move, and it's the first time they put 3 or 4 passes together.
And tidy finish.
Tidy finish.
From Cam as well. He'll hope to get another chance when he's onside. But small warning there for Canberra Olympic if they needed one.
Yeah. Well, they're quite prepared at the moment, or so it seems, to be one-on-one at the back. You can see Ulrich, if it's in the picture, that with Cam, but they're not really using another player as cover.
Popovic fouls Guerrero and stays down. South American pair in central defence.
Yes.
Today. Bit of communication in Spanish, perhaps.
Well, that's probably not as silly as it sounds, Russ.
It wouldn't be, would it? I mean, they're both on the same wavelength.
Yep.
Know each other's game inside out, so... Ball sent forward. Faust with a header. Danning picks it up. Piccolo, who's played well the last couple of weeks, with Michael Reeve not available. And Tigers get a throw. Popovic just pushed off the ball by Michael Keita. He's in that creative role where we think his talents are better utilised, perhaps. Here's Jozefowski. Spaseski. Jared Tonini. Jay Kelly got the header in. Here's Dominici. Tries to get away from Jozefowski. Little nibble at the ankles, bit of a soft one. Steven Dominici wins a free kick. Been a few little niggly fouls early on, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Game hasn't really got into any sort of momentum after 11 minutes. Slightly different opening to the one we had.
It has been, yeah. It was a spectacular opening to the last one.
Here's Magic. Just to change the direction of the attack, but can only pick out Tonini, whose touch lets him down. But he's going to get a second bite of the cherry here, Jared Tonini. And he's found a runner outside in Hussein Farej. He'll take on Faust. Didn't see much of Farej O'Connor a couple of weeks ago. Very quiet as an attacking force.
He was, and in the game on the synthetic against Gungahlin, he had a quiet game as well. But he's had a reasonable season. He's weighed in with his fair share of goals, and he's provided an outlet down that left on more times than not. And if they can get him into the game again today...
Well, they should get a free kick here.
Yeah.
An opportunity.
They've just got themselves back into the game a little bit here. Good on them.
Well, Gurney was brought down.
Skip between two defenders there like Lionel Messi, didn't he?
You'll like that. Chance for Farej to send it in. Chance for Guerrero to get up front and get involved. De Felipe's in there too, as is Michael Keita. Can they find a decent delivery? Sung's going to make this difficult for Rory Larkin, you would think. Swung in towards where Guerrero was. One by Janchevsky. Jozefowski reloads it into the area, but Megic just volleys it clear. And as far as Tonini, lured Popovic into the challenge and then looks to send the ball forwards. Shields will be the willing chaser, and Ulrich decides to
Safety first
approach, indeed. Out. Good response to their nervy start from the Tigers. 13 minutes in, no goals. Similar start to the game we got at O'Connor, to be fair. Both sides fairly cagey. Different approach to this one, isn't it, Steve? Considering that, you know, the grand final place is up for grabs, but there is that thing in the back of your mind where you're like, well, if we do lose today, we do get another go.
Oh, there's a safety net. There's no doubt about it. You've got an insurance policy ready-made, but games of football are there to be won. And I think both teams will approach this game with that in mind, and they won't be thinking about next week just yet.
Dangerous game to play if you are. Larkin with the goal kick. One ball forward looking for Danning, won by Gurney. Faust finds Danning. Ferej helped it on its way. Olympic attacking into the shadows. Popovic eases his marker off the ball. Di Felipe just sends it forward. Anyway, will do for the Tigers' defence. Gurney, that was, that helped it out on that occasion.
And you know, Michael Gurney brings bags of enthusiasm. He loves playing. But his strengths are just defending, getting in the way, getting a foot in, tackling,
And
making sure others can't play.
And winning a free kick like that.
And winning free kicks. So if he tries to do something that is, you know, outside his comfort zone, he's likely to let the team down. So if it's just knocking balls out of play, then, and that's his strength, then he should play to it.
That's why he's been picked in the team as a defender. They will miss Darren Bailey today, though, the Scottish fullback. Raking ball forward, that finds Cam. Looked lively in the early stages, the young forward.
Done okay. His movements are quite intelligent. But Bailey, a bittersweet sort of proposition for him, isn't it? Because if they do go through to the grand final, he's liable to miss that.
That's true. Yeah. Long way round is better for Darren Bailey. Good run this from Ferej into the penalty area. Ulrich was there to snuff it out before it got too dangerous. Sparrow, thumping challenge with Guerrero, lets out a massive scream. Referee says play on, absolutely nothing in it, according to Nathan Shakespeare.
I think it was just two players going at it, wasn't it?
Seemed that way from here. Sparrow, no shrinking violet.
And it could be a twist of a knee or something like that.
And a bit of a shove there as well from Sparrow. And a little bit of unnecessary handbags between the two sides. Guerrero's down, and judging by Lachlan Cam's reaction, he looks quite hurt.
He may be.
Maybe there was just a hanging leg there, Steve. Sometimes, you know, when you go with those 50-50s and the ball is won and pushed into your foot.
It could barely twisted an ankle, twisted a knee, and if it has, that's a body blow for...
Well, this is the last thing that Gabby Wilk really needs, isn't it? Is one of his central defenders to be down injured.
Absolutely.
Didn't seem an awful lot in the challenge.
They seem to be walking away now, so I'm guessing that he's going to be okay. It was a hard challenge, but both of them went in full throttle.
Yeah, like I said, it might have been a sore one for Noel Guerrero on the knee. Picked himself up, though. Be interesting to keep an eye on that one, though, Steve, because Guerrero, if he feels he's been wrong there, might look for a bit of retribution. The upshot is a free kick to Canberra Olympic after that, which Megic is behind. In fact, he's going to leave it for Faust, who goes short, and Tigers have switched off for a moment. Megic swings it in, and out comes Cole, and for a moment he lost it against the head of Spaseski.
Did well, though. Got it at the second attempt. Kane was very confident in his handling.
Long ball forwards, looking for Shields. Been a frustrating few weeks for Mark Shields. Like I said, 405 minutes without a goal. For Shields, personally, it's longer than that. His last goal was in that Rhinos game from the penalty spot in the 36th minute of that match, and he'd scored the week prior to that against Woden Western in round 13. That was the last goal from open play for Mark Shields. Sparrow's ball forward was going nowhere, and rather luckily further Danning.
He was looking for Danning, but he mishit it all completely.
We found him via the leg of Jose Di Felipe. Jozefowski. Farage. Shields to chase. Magic back to help out. Mark Shields, former Canberra Olympic player, of course. Spaseski.
Dominici, forward Tigers player.
Former Tigers grand final winning player, wasn't he?
Yeah,
With a
scored the winner.
Spectacular goal against Belconnen.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
But in 2012 that was, Steve. Surely you've got over it by now.
Never get over things like that. Last minute.
It was. I called the game. It was a belter.
I thought he was offside.
Some things I'm noticing that are a bit weird is it looks like Jay Kelly's got two different kind of boots on, Steve. Here's Danning, rather more importantly. Janchevsky. Ball swung in towards where Popovic was. Spaseski wins the header. Tanini's touch. Here is Kelly.
Yes.
Dominici finds Popovic. Yeah, one black and then one, maybe one of his boots split in the warm-up or something. Dominici got caught a bit late there. Here's Kelly. Running forward. A good ball in towards Piccolo, who stayed on side here, and Jacob Cole does well to deny the young midfielder. Maybe a question for afterwards as to Jay Kelly's wearing two different kind of boots.
He's probably got another pair like that at home.
I was waiting for that. I'll tee him up, you knock him in, mate. Here's Tonini. Leaves it for Spaseski.
Oh,
Squeezes one through somehow to Jozefowski. Farage out wide.
oh, catch that.
Yeah, that was not the ball that Lachlan Cam wanted.
No.
So quite the difference in feel and tempo to the game we watched a couple of hours ago.
It's certainly different to the first 5 or 6 minutes we saw here in this game, where it was all Olympic. It was just total domination. They must have had close to 90% possession in that first 5 or 10 minutes. But the game settled down into a more even contest now, and Tigers are just slowly working their way back into it. They've still got a lot to do if they want to win the game in terms of the quality of possession they get. But they're doing better now than they were at the start of the game. Kelly.
Looking for Danning. It's a good ball as well. And he's found Danning in a little bit of space. Piccolo arriving in the middle now, and an important foot on it from Guerrero. As Piccolo was arriving, looks fully recovered now, Guerrero.
Yeah.
Cam does well there. Finds Shields. Has to spin it wide, and all he can do is find Nathan Magic. Popovic. Piccolo. Danning. Beaten to it by Farage.
Constant distraction of the ball from the other pitch coming on over here and then being wellied back.
That's what you get when you have two games on
Yes.
successive pitches.
Yes, yes.
It's another free kick. Nick Popovic is going to go into the book here for that challenge. Nathan Shakespeare's had enough of all the niggles and decides to get a card out. Taking him 21 minutes to do so. Foul on Gurney. Interesting call. Probably the right one from your point of view.
I thought so. It's been one or two niggles, one or two solid challenges, and I think it was time the referee sort of stamped his authority on it, so he's done that.
Doesn't mind putting himself about a bit, does he, Nick Popovic?
He's one of those annoying players. Tremendous technical skills. But if you beat him, he can sort of nip at your heels a little bit.
9 goals this season. Sparrow waited for it for too long, and Tanini snuck in. Shields looks to play it forward for Cam. Won by Ulrich. Falls for Keita. Beaten to it by Kelly. Dominici's had a quiet opening to this one. De Felipe goes back to Cole. Oh, and he's giving it away to Popovic. Real opportunity for Canberra Olympic. They must score here, surely. They've made an absolute meal of this, and somehow the Tigers have got away with one.
Well,
what a mess at the back for Tigers, and somehow Olympic have let them off the hook.
And they may pay the price for that.
Jozefovski looking to make sure they do straight away. Kelly having to go back to Rory Larkin. But the most relieved man at the AIS right now would be Jacob Cole. It's a horrible clearance. And
what he was thinking about, only he will know, but what Popovic was thinking about when he took possession of the ball in the middle of the penalty area from the goalkeeper with nobody near him, and then dwells on it and eventually wastes a golden opportunity to put them in front. That will not please either coach.
Handball against Danning. Will that come back to haunt Canberra Olympic later on?
May do. May do.
For all intents and purposes, you would have thought that Nick Popovic would have buried that chance.
Well, it's the first sign that maybe Olympic are a little complacent following the 4-0 victory at the end of the season.
Keita. Tanini found a bit of space in which to operate. Sparrow comes in with a fairly hefty challenge. It was all ball, wasn't it?
But he was,
or was it not? He was studs up.
Yeah. Studs up, and he's on the top of the ball. I mean, that's...
Well, you'd think if he's going to call the free kick there, that there would be a card that follows with that kind of challenge.
Well, either that or it's not a free kick at all. I mean, you can only be given that because of the studs up and the high foot. So that would be automatically a yellow card. But he did win the ball. Yeah.
But you can't lunge in like that these days, can you? I mean, many moons ago that would have been okay. That challenge, we'd all been stood here clapping and going, "That's a great challenge."
If you didn't do that, you'd have been taken off.
It's the way of modern football, though. You can't make that challenge anymore. And the upshot will be a Tigers' opportunity to swing this into a danger area, and this is going to drop out the sun for Rory Larkin. It is a horrible position for the goalkeeper. Fresh drops it in towards where he is, and good piece of defending from Kelly to come across and help him out, because I don't think the keeper would have liked that at all.
No, and he was in no man's land. He came and was getting nowhere near it. So the sun obviously a distraction for him.
You can see the shadows lengthening across the field inside that Canberra Olympic penalty area. Not ideal for Rory Larkin.
Yes, I should imagine another 10 or 15 minutes and these lights will start to take effect.
We've switched them all on early. It's a corner for the Tigers. Goran Jozefovski taking it. 20 minutes to half-time. This one hasn't really taken off just yet. Will it now with Jozefovski's corner? Prodded clear from Ulrich. Dominici. Looks to go in field, but can only find Keita. Ferej, good turn that. Chance to shoot left-footed. And Larkin gets down rather haphazardly to push that past the post.
It wasn't the best piece of goalkeeping, nor the best piece of finishing, but it's ended up in a corner for Tigers. And Larkin was, well, I don't know how you describe that. He seemed to go down in stages.
Lovely turn on the edge of the box from Ferej.
Yeah, he did well.
And back where we started, Jozefovski with another corner.
Yeah, and Dominici's just not got into the game at all yet, as he hasn't found the pace of it.
Will the delivery be better this time from the veteran? Good delivery, that one, Jozefovski. Header from Guerrero, and it was just over the crossbar. I think Larkin had it covered, but firm, meaty header from the Argentinian centre-back. And signs of life from the Tigers as an attacking force.
Well, so far they're the only team that's had the ball in the back of the net, but Olympic should have.
Magic goes long. Gurney's just going to defend this one with a little nod out towards where the women's qualification final is taking place.
Tremendously frustrating for everybody concerned.
I guess over there they're saying exactly the same thing as you just said.
Yeah.
Football's all over the place. It's an interesting concept to have both matches on at the same time here at this venue. That's a free kick. Jozefovski with the challenge on Faust. Some of those in blue asking the referee if there was not a card forthcoming.
Well, it could have been. Once again, it was high. But
Danning was... Sorry, Steve.
I was just going to say, when he didn't book Sparrow up here, probably was
consistent.
Consistent, yeah.
Danning with the free kick. 5 blue shirts converging in and around the back post at the moment, looking to split. Sent in towards Popovic. Might fall for Dominici. Tonini makes sure it doesn't. Kelly. Looking to clip it towards Danning. Good ball. Kofi Danning in behind here. Opportunity. Swung in towards Popovic, where 2 weeks ago he contorted his body to flick one of those into the bottom corner. This time Tigers deny him and it's a corner.
A lot of joy, though, for Danning outside Gurney. The switch. Kelly, Janchevsky, Sparrow finding Danning with that long diagonal pass in behind the fullback is really causing some problems down the Tigers' left. As we go to a corner.
Danning swings it in towards where Janchevsky was. It was won by Keita. It's going to fall out for Danning again. Ferrej was back defending. Closing in on the half-hour mark. Not a lot to write home about in terms of chances. Disallowed goal for Tigers for an offside. Thrown in towards where Danning is. And whilst they haven't looked like breaking that goal drought, they look more solid defensively this week than they did 2 weeks ago.
Yes, they do. They do.
Surprisingly, considering the changes that Gary Wilkes had to make.
Absolutely. The makeshift back four has held up pretty well. I mean, it's still early days yet.
Sometimes adversity can play in your favour. Here's Danning.
Well, it certainly serves to sharpen the focus, doesn't it?
Piccolo. Opportunity to flick this one in. It's going to fall for Popovic on the far post. Here's Nick Popovic. Cluster of Tigers players close the shot down. Falls for Janchevsky. Danning's got a heap of space out wide. It's not the kind of ball he wanted. Try to volley it into the penalty area. Hoiked clear. Only as far as Magic. Gets past the first challenge. And then passes it out of play.
I've just got the sneaking suspicion that when this sun disappears behind these trees, it's going to get really cold.
Well, it is the final day of winter in Canberra. Mother Nature got something up her sleeve for us later on, Steve, as long as it doesn't rain.
I think we haven't had rain since 1962, so...
Ball forward, Cam's chasing. Sparrow helps in on its way. Janchevsky, nice nod down. Finds Faust. Magic. Olympic looking to build something. Sparrow beaten to it by Guerrero. Snapping back at the midfielder. Dancing feet of Shields goes down. Or Ferrej rather, I should say. Here's Keita. He's under pressure now as well. And Jozefovski tidies up and Gurney can start again at the back with Jose Di Felipe. Ball forwards is asking a heck of a lot for Hussein Ferrej.
Yeah, he was never getting that, was he?
It's not the most blistering of wingers, is he, in terms of his pace, but he has got a fair amount of skills and tricks in his locker. Half an hour gone, no score in the qualification final.
I think the same on the other pitch.
Yeah, no score over there either. Complete contrast to the two elimination finals we had earlier on, in which Canberra United Academy beat Gungahlin in the women's 4-2, and Gungahlin United beat Canberra FC in the men's 5-2. These two, a bit more cagey. Piccolo nods it down into the area. Danning is offside. It's fair to say the Olympics' much vaunted attack, which has brought them 47 goals this season, failing to fire at the moment.
Yeah, it's and it's not through lack of service either. They've actually got themselves into good spots, but they're just lacking those combinations that we've come to like, and we've seen so often throughout the year. Popovic, Dominici, Danning. It's just not happening for him at the moment. Piccolo has sort of flirted on the edges of the game without really being in it, and you can say that about most of the front three or four.
Guerrero.
Perhaps we should be giving more credit to this makeshift defensive structure, because they really have worked hard to make sure Olympic can't create chances. And the only chance that has come was set up by Jacob Cole's mistake.
Here's Danning. Looks for Piccolo, Popovic, who try to find Piccolo. Gurney gets rid of it. Sometimes, like you say, when you stumble across formations, and this has looked pretty good, hasn't it, defensively? The two Argentinians in the middle, yeah, and the work rate of Spaseski and Gurney outside them. No nonsense defending.
And that's the key to it. Just no frills, no nonsense, just do the basics and do them really well. But it's been aided a little bit, this formation, by a lack of cohesion from Olympic. And I think Frank Case will be a little bit disappointed that with all the possession they have, that they haven't created more.
Long throw in towards Danning. Guerrero gets there in front of him. Here's Kelly. Dominici. Looking to find Popovic. De Felipe was there. Sparrow bursting forward into the penalty area. Here's Sparrow, real opportunity, but he's dragged it wide of goal. It opened up for Daniel Sparrow. He made it himself with a bursting run into the penalty area, but the finish was lacking accuracy.
No, but he's done really well to create the chance. He's read it well, he's pinched it, he's burst through past the defenders, and unfortunately on his left foot he's unable to hit the target. And Danning was just sneaking into the far post, that if he'd have rolled it across, it gets a tap in. But I don't think anybody would blame Daniel Sparrow for having to dig from there, but he should have done better and get it on target.
Not renowned for his goal scoring, yet to pick up one for Olympic. Did get a hat-trick, though, for Belconnen in a cup tie earlier this season, didn't he, against Western Malonglay? Yeah,
he scored against the Riverina Rhinos as well. He's capable of getting goals, there's no doubt about it. He's got a very, very good shot. He's not your classic finisher, but he's got tremendous work rate, and as you can see from there, when he gets into goal-scoring opportunities, he's prepared to pull the trigger.
Shields gone in briefly down the left flank and has won his team a corner. And you get the feeling this is perhaps where the Tigers can hurt Olympic. From the set piece, Guerrero's jogging forward. De Felipe's in there with him as well. Keita's not small.
But if Olympic can break quickly in transition, a lot of spaces, one-on-one, Gurney with Popovic and spaces everywhere else.
They go short. Jozefowski swings it in and it was missed at the near post by Faust. Furej nods it down, prodded goalwards by Cam.
And they were one-on-one there.
Larkin was looking for it. Don't think he could see it in the sunshine. And that's why his distribution has gone out straight into the supporters who are in front of us here in the main stand.
40-20.
10 minutes to half-time. No score. Intriguing tussle. Keita finds Shields. Kelly got in.
It's an itsy-bitsy game, isn't it, at the moment? It's just fits and starts. There's no real cohesion from any team at the moment.
Yeah, no fluency at all from either side. Niggly fouls here and there, a couple of miscontrolled passes and that kind of thing. It's not made for a great spectacle at the moment, but...
Semi-finals seldom are. It's so much at stake. I think teams tend to be a little sort of cagey and cautious, a little bit nervous.
Tend to find an early goal, like we had in all of them, both finals last year and in the match earlier today, helps the situation, doesn't it?
It does indeed, yeah. Well, one team settles down immediately and because they've scored, and the other team has their task really clearly defined.
Keita fouls Janchevsky, free kick. Sparrow thought about going quickly. No movement ahead of him, so finds Faust. Ulrich. Kelly. Steps inside Tonini. And then his distribution was really poor. De Felipe sends it straight back again, so they'll get the opportunity to start again. But defensively, the Tigers, with these two banks of four, making life very difficult for
Very hard
Olympic.
to break down, haven't they? And really, it's been individual errors that have caused them most problems.
Gurney nods that out onto the Canberra FC Belconnen match. That was Rachel Goldstein punting it back for us. They'll be just as frustrated as everybody else, I would have thought, the players over there.
Oh, why wouldn't they be?
And it's not helping the game. There's another niggly free kick. Jozefowski fouled this time by Faust. If you're Marcel Munoz and Gungahlin United right now, you're watching this and thinking, well, bring it on.
You won't be too disturbed, that's for sure. But, you know, for one team, it's a fortnight. The grand final's a fortnight away. And for one team, it'll be a rest. And for the other, it'll be a game against Gungahlin. And you can bet your bottom dollar that it'll be it'll be a different sort of kettle of fish than what we've seen here.
Well, you will see it next week live on Bar TV Sports, a preliminary final from the AIS, Gungahlin United versus Tigers or Olympic in the men's, and that'll be preceded by the women's, where we'll watch Canberra United Academy play either Belconnen or Canberra FC. Both those games live, as all matches have been throughout the season, and of course the following week, grand finals week. On the Saturday, live coverage of the men's and women's grand final, and on the Sunday, I think potentially we have live coverage of the NPL2 grand final as well, which will be an interesting match.
Yeah.
The two semi-finals tomorrow. O'Connor Knights play White Eagles in the qualification final. ANU versus Queanbeyan City in the elimination. Here's Shields looking to help it on its way, but Ulrich was there. Magic with the left foot looks for Danning in over the top here, and Cole's come and read the situation perfectly. It's a great bit of goalkeeping from Jacob Cole.
Yeah, read it well.
Distribution to Tonini, who's ball in field, only found Piccolo. Here's Popovic, looking to take on Di Felipe for pace. Got past the Argentinian the first time, couldn't the second. Tonini back helping out. Kelly. Good run this from Jay Kelly, still going. Might have opened up for him for a moment, and he tried to force it through to Piccolo instead of shooting. And the chance goes begging.
Again, and it's just the lack of movement in front. The much vaunted Olympic attack is just a little static at the moment as the ball comes forward. And maybe it's a function of players just taking one too many touches.
It's Sparrow.
Or maybe they're just half a second off the game.
Well, Dominici swapped wings, but he's swamped by 3 yellow shirts. And they haven't let him get going, have they?
No.
Stephen Dominici.
But a goal changes this. Either way, a goal will change this game.
I think it's fair to say that the game needs a goal. Maybe it will kick it into life.
It certainly needs a little bit of quality injected into it.
Faust with a throw. Piccolo. Back to Faust. Looks to deliver one deep towards Popovic on the far post. Spaseski was underneath that the whole way and couldn't get anywhere near it. Here is Popovic. Kelly. Janchevsky. Di Felipe out to hurry him in possession. Magic tries to bring Faust into play. He's past Gurney and can't get past Farej. And they've covered well for each other, haven't they, the Tigers, at the moment?
Yeah.
Got 5 minutes to see out the rest of the half.
Really need to concentrate now from a Tigers' point of view. They don't want to concede now. They've worked really hard to stay in this game, and that's the only way I think they can get anything out of it over the 90 minutes. Just defend well, stay in it, stop Olympic from playing. And so far, they've done everything right.
Farej looks for Cam. Ulrich's there, and you have to be careful here, and that header back was not what Larkin wanted. It's an opportunity for the Tigers. Cam's there, Shields takes it away from Ulrich, pulls it across goal. Here's Jared Tonini, and he's wasted the opportunity. It's rather skewed off the side of his foot instead of putting his laces through it.
And they did everything right to set him up, but what Larkin was doing, I've got no idea. I mean, it's not the first time this season we've seen the rush of blood from Rory Larkin when he comes off his line. And he gave his defender an absolute nightmare to deal with.
Sparrow goes in on Tonini, and Jared Tonini will be disappointed he's not got a piece of that, because that was a real chance for the Tigers.
He should have hit the target at least, shouldn't he? Really should have, because they've set him up perfectly.
And if he does put his foot through it from that range, it's a real ask of Rory Larkin to save it. Sun's gone down now behind, makes it a little bit easier for Larkin, and I'll tell you what else makes it easier. That quality of free kick from Goran Josefovski.
Just never on, was it?
Jared Tonini is a whippet going forward, but he's not that fast.
Yeah, you'd have to be Usain Bolt with skates.
Couple of minutes to half-time. Two, let's say, interesting pieces of goalkeeping at either end. Keeping everybody interested.
Bring the crowds back.
Ulrich, there's definitely nothing more to do, was it? You could see it a mile off. It was telegraphed, wasn't it, that he was going to nod it back?
Yeah. And he's just made it impossible for him. I mean, he's out of his box for a start. I mean, what's he going to do?
He probably didn't need to come that far. As it is, it was a let-off that's not cost Olympic.
Well, that's one at each end, isn't it? So.
Janchevsky, heavy touch from Piccolo, recovers the situation. Another poor touch, and still recovers it again. Jozefowski helping back like a spring chicken. Goran Jozefowski.
A spring chicken.
Rejoined the club from Queanbeyan City, didn't he, during the season?
Yeah. Never been anything other than a 100% committed player. No matter where he's been, he's always tried his hardest.
And that's schoolboy.
Yep.
As Faust gets caught offside from the return of the throw from Popovic. 2 minutes to go to half-time. No goals here, no goals over in the women's qualification final either. Maybe we've used them all up in the opening matches.
More to come. Stay confident. Be positive, Russ.
Could be a long night for us otherwise, Steve. Extra time and penalties required, of course, if it ends goalless at the end of 90 minutes. Which I'll be flabbergasted if it does. Another free kick and a yellow card this time for Magic for a foul on Shields.
What goes through people's heads, Russell, it often makes me wonder.
You can make a fortune if you know. I think there's people out there that do make a fortune about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Silly free kick to give away in the shadows of half-time. We've got 90 seconds to go in the first half, and it's an opportunity here for the Tigers to load something into the penalty area. Plenty of yellow shirts to aim for. One thing that Olympic are very good at, though, is defending free kicks. They've got some height in the back there. That's probably cue to goal. Jozefowski tasked with the delivery. Can he find some quality? Lifts it in towards Guerrero. It's come off the head of Janchevsky, who was back there. And Danning completes the clearance. Up to Popovic. Piccolo's made the run outside, and he's got a yard on Spaseski. He's back to challenge, and Keita uses his strength. Should be a blue ball, is it? No, it's yellow. Must have come off Piccolo last. Michael Keita in the midfield role.
Yeah, hasn't been involved a lot, but he's defended reasonably well. He's helped to protect that back four well.
Loose ball from Tanini. Don't say that very often. Sparrow raking ball forwards, and Gurney's done well to cover that. Cole under pressure. Better clearance this time. Spaseski. He's dawdling on it, and he's robbed by Popovic and then fouls him, and that's probably a yellow card for Tony Spaseski as well. And as we enter stoppage time at the end of the first half, Canberra Olympic with a really good opportunity here.
How many free kicks has there been?
Lots.
There's been too many. Game just can't get started.
And that's the problem, isn't it? There's been so many.
Yeah.
That it's difficult.
And, you know, you can't blame the referee. It's the players that are at fault here.
Kofi Danning over the set piece, and this could be an interesting one. If he could drop this in and around the 6-yard box, decisions to be made for Jacob Cole in his defence. Popovic making a run. It's clipped to that near post. Shields helps it on its way. Keita nods it clear as far as Sparrow. Back to Danning again. Lifts it into the area. That should be easy for Cole. That's rather disappointing from Olympic point of view.
Yep, didn't come off from them. They tried something different, little dink to the near post, but unfortunately for them, didn't work.
Minute of stoppage time played. Nathan Shakespeare looks at his watch, says that'll do us for the first half. Stephen, it's been a first half punctuated by niggly fouls, and it's never really got going, has it?
No, it really needs an injection of some quality and somebody to put the foot on and start playing a little bit. Great start from Olympic where they looked to dominate possession and did. They created a number of half chances. They had a great opportunity through the mistake from Cole. But, you know, to say that Olympic have been totally dominant would be a little unfair on Tigers, because after that slow start they really worked themselves into the game and had a couple of chances themselves. So 0-0 at half time, so we go into the break all locked up, no closer to knowing who will be in the grand final, first time of asking, but everything's still to play for.
Tigers had the ball in the net midway through the first half. Lachlan Cam, starting his first game of the season up front, did score, but he was flagged off so well before he put it away. It was a tidy finish in any respect. Milik Popovic had the best chance for Olympic, as Steve alluded to, but dawdled on it after Jacob Cole presented him with a glorious chance, and somehow they didn't take it, which means at the break, as Steve said, nothing between them. Stalemate at the AIS. It's Canberra Olympic 0, Tigers FC 0. Welcome back to the AIS. Second half of the qualification final between Canberra Olympic and Tigers shortly to commence, where it's 0-0. We've been feeding people a bit of a lie in the first half. Apparently there was a very, very early goal over in the women's game. Caitlin Munoz slid in one after 3 minutes, apparently, and Belconnen lead that one by 1-0. Didn't hear anything.
No, there was no loud cheer to sort of give us an idea that the ball had gone in the back of the net, but we should have seen that, Russell. The tail bad.
Fair play, we are concentrating on this one.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't lying earlier on. The sun has gone down and the temperature has dropped slightly.
Slightly.
Well, a lot. Let's hope the football is a bit more lively in the second half to warm us all up. Because what we saw in the first half was a dogged defensive display from Tigers. They had 32% of the possession.
Yeah, and its second half's going to be very, very similar. You would imagine that they're going to have to play a lot of the game without the ball, and if they can keep patient and resilient, then the last 10 or 15 minutes they can have a bit of a dig and see if they can get something out of it. The danger, of course, is if Olympic can't score, that they might just get a second and a third and run away with it. But so far, so good from a Tigers perspective. They've worked hard. The game's been punctuated by a number of niggly free kicks, and that probably suits Tigers at the moment because they're playing without possession anyway. But Olympic just need to sort of settle down and play some of the football they're capable of playing, particularly in the final third, where the combinations that we've seen previously between Dominici and Popovic et al. Are just not there at the moment.
Well, it's very obvious to say it, excuse me, but I'm going to say it anyway. The next 15 minutes are going to be absolutely critical in this one. If there is a goal, and it does come from Canberra Olympic, you'd see it's being a long way back for a side that's not scored now for 450 minutes of football.
Absolutely. But, you know, we'd said that about the first half, that if Olympic could score early, they could get on top and run away with it and turn it into an ugly day out. But full credit to Tigers, who've worked their socks off to actually stay in this game. You know, they've had 1 in 3 minutes, if you like, 33% of the possession. It's a hard task to keep going.
No changes at the break. Olympic line-up with Larkin in goal, Faust, Magic, Ulrich, Kelly, Sparrow, Jancheski, Piccolo, Danning, Popovic and Dominici. Tigers with Cole in goal, Spaseski, Guerrero, De Felipe and Gurney. Torini, Keita, Jozowski, Farej, Cam and Shields. Nathan Shakespeare in the middle, getting ready to start us off in the second half, and full credit to Gabby Wilk and Jair Wilk. In difficult circumstances, they've managed to cobble together a back four out there that's looked very solid, with the Argentinians in the back and the no-nonsense approach from all four of them.
Yeah, it's done its job so far. It's done its job. And you know, you wouldn't say much more than that. But Olympic are capable of breaking down the tightest of defences in this league, and they just need to be a little bit more composed, get some quality in that final third, the little 1-2s, the clever runs, reverse passes, and, you know, they can actually cause this defence, this makeshift defence, a lot more problems than they have in the first half.
45 minutes plus possibly extra time and penalties left here on the doubleheader day to see who goes through to the grand final. Olympic in blue, Tigers in yellow. No goals in the first half. Here's Tonini, early chance for Tigers. His delivery, though, wasn't great. And slapped forwards by Kelly, who's changed his boots again, Steve. You'll be happy to know he's got the same pair on now. Switch forward towards Popovic, who runs in. He's found the boot in his kit bag at half-time.
He must have. Somebody might have dropped it off for him.
Possibly they did. That's a good question. We'll find that out at full time. It's very important. I need to know these things.
Yeah. Brexit depends on this.
It's Dominici. He's got a strapping around that right knee there, Steve.
Interesting, because he had a quiet first half. Maybe he is carrying a bit of a knock. Well, obviously he is.
And the heavy strapping too, isn't it?
He's limping.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it?
No.
Popovic goes down. Faust looks to deliver something. Can't. But yeah, the real restriction of movement on Stephen Dominici's right leg there when he was running in the middle. The number 32 in the centre of the park, just going out your picture there. You'll see it when he comes to chase after the ball there, and he's not moving freely at all, is he?
No.
This will be a big blow for Canberra Olympic. Good knock on. Shields has got away here, and the flag has stayed down. Mark Shields looking to get into the area. Here's Shields, and he's denied by a combination of Nathan Magic's challenge and Rory Larkin. But
Just
the
needed-
first time he got in there, Mark Shields,
hint of offside, but he got in behind a fairly flat back four, and his strength and pace took him in to a goal-scoring opportunity. He just didn't pull the trigger quickly enough, and the scrambling Olympic defence got back to deny him that goal.
Popovic at the other end. Sparrow. Keita challenging with him. And he's very strong in the challenges, Michael Keita. Probably, I hesitate to say, but possibly the only one on the field that's got the upper body strength to match Daniel Sparrow in those kind of one-on-ones.
We saw it in the first half in the game that they lost 4-0, where I thought he did really well against Sparrow in that first half. He was taken off at half-time, and that made a big difference to the game that Sparrow played.
Worth keeping an eye on Stephen Dominici as another one of those subplots we've been talking about all afternoon. He'll be hoping that the strapping's just a bit tight and he can run it a bit loose. But it didn't look good for him. Faust and Ferej, the two number 7s coming together right in front of the commentary position. Michael Gurney with a throw. Mejic. Janchevsky. It's going to find its way through to Popovic. And Gurney uses his strength to see off the striker. Ferej. Sparrow in with a challenge. Ferej gets away. Piccolo back to help out. Faust is there too. And Ferej does well to win the throw. Shields. Good turn. Finds Keita. Janchevsky back to him. Keita somehow
How's he done that?
goes down, gets up, still has the football. Finds Ferej. It's come to Keita. Surely he's offside. Apparently not.
No, he came off an Olympic player, surely.
Well, he stopped. Maybe he thought he was offside. Here's Gurney. Switches play to Spaseski. Sends one forwards for Shields to chase. Rory Larkins made the decision to come and get. And Shields slides in to try and get in. He was never going to get that the forwards. Bright start from the Tigers in the second half.
Much better start than they made in the first half, that's for sure. And once again, if they can stay in the game and just not concede, create one or two chances just to upset the rhythm of Olympic, get in people's faces, then they're a bit of a chance of at least pushing Olympic all the way.
It's fair to say most of the football community would be expecting Olympic to win this today.
Yes.
Basically because the Tigers couldn't buy a goal if there's one for sale at half price. Here's Keita looking to change all that with a little dribbling run into the middle. And Faust just stands across him, and that's an error from Larkin.
Wow.
And he's furious with himself. Unnecessary corner for Kuma Tigers. Slipped out of his hands
Yeah,
there, didn't it?
It did. Not the greatest piece of goalkeeping you've ever seen, but he does like coming off his line. He comes off early and he generally deals with it, but he just gets hearts in mouth.
Jozovsky with the corner. Rory Luckham will be fuming if something comes of this. Into the near post. Kelly swung and missed. Ferej has it. Swings it across goal. Real chance, must be a goal. It's turned in by Mark Shields. The goal drought is broken. And the Tigers, the underdogs, lead 1-0.
And, you know, the start of the second half, they've deserved that. I mean, they've got Shields in behind, and now they've got Shields at the far post, and he's actually given them a 1-0 lead, and now they'll take some catching.
456 minutes of football without a goal. Perhaps none have been as important in the Tigers season as that one. Mark Shields steals one home from, well, on the goal line near enough. 14th of the season.
I mean, that's where good goal scorers go. He was in the right spot and he's finished it. But they'll be disappointed a little bit, I think, in the way they've defended. They haven't cleared the corner properly. They've sort of been half-hearted in the tackling, and maybe that's because it's in the box. But FC have sort of bust through a couple of tackles and created the chance for Shields, and he's finished it.
Such an unnecessary corner to concede as well.
Yeah.
There was nothing on. It spilt out of Rory Larkin's hands and gifted the Tigers a corner. And from that corner, an air swing from Kelly. And all of a sudden, the ball is in the back of the Olympic net, and they have it all to do. Well, that's certainly going to open the game up.
Well,
Olympic need to push forward now.
They do, but it's, it gives Tigers something to hang on to.
Piccolo picking his way through. Guerrero gets in front of Popovic and does well to win the free kick.
But again, another stupid free kick from Popovic. How many times is that he's been caught niggly free kicks because he's just not in the game. It's just sheer frustration, but he's letting his team down every time he does it.
Guerrero with the free kick at the back. Well, who would have thought this? Tigers,
Nobody
39 minutes from the grand final. It's a resilience.
And that's the end of Dominici. That injury is obviously more serious than we thought. He's tried to run it off, but can't.
Another blow. 2 blows in a couple of minutes. Eli Darwich is brought onto the field. Stephen Dominici. Well, Olympic will be hoping, and Frank Casey in particular, that this is something he can shake off. If not, if they're in a preliminary final next week, at least for a grand final if they somehow turn this one around.
Yes.
Guerrero launches one forward. Won by Kelly. Guerrero's there again. Shields. And Kelly sends it up towards where Danning is. It's come off Guerrero, that. And De Felipe's inadvertent pass has found Danning. He swings one in. It's a good ball too towards the far post. Real chance for Piccolo. His control lets him down there.
Poor touch. Good ball in from Danning.
And Piccolo might have done better as it was dropping over the head of Spaseski. Tigers have got something to cling to now. It might make it difficult. Here's Kelly. One thing we do know about Olympic is they are full of goals. You'd be incredibly surprised if they did draw a blank today.
Losing Dominici doesn't help, though.
Last time they did was in round 10 against Canberra FC. One of only 2 times this season they haven't scored a goal, and that was the other one was here at this very pitch in the cup against Canberra FC as well. So they've scored in every other game they've played this season. Frank Casey will be praying for a goal right now.
Yeah, I think the introduction of Eli Darwich is a good one. Obviously, you'd have preferred it with Dominici still on the pitch, but I think he'll add a little bit of creativity. They just need to sort of get themselves a foothold now. They're just struggling a little bit in possession to do anything constructive.
Danning. Gurney's marked him very well in the main. Gets past him on that occasion, but forces him backwards to Janchevsky, and that's not a good ball. Hussein Faresh was there. Bit of urgency with Olympic. Popovic, who's now moved into the number 9 role. It's just not coming off for those in blue.
No, and Popovic needs to step up now. He's not had a great game. He hasn't been poor by any stretch of the imagination, but he hasn't had his best game, and he just needs to step up now and lead the way for him.
Faresh wins the throw. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Tigers with the lead. Mark Shields' goal separating these two sides. The two that were the best for most of the season. Ulrich pops that one away. Other bench for Olympic today: Seb Woods, Sean Pateman, Amir Adam and James Christis. The other options for Frank Casey. I doubt he's going to bring the goalkeeper on, so Seb Woods might be an option. Amir Adam scored a couple of goals this season as well. Keita, who's been excellent in the middle of the park. Gurney, Keita again. Danning gets away from him on this occasion and gets a free kick. Olympic want to play with a bit more tempo. Megic. Ulrich. Kelly. Here's Darwich. Nice take of the initial ball, and off he goes and past the second one again, but he's just a bit too far, and he's going to get a free kick though.
Yeah,
nice introduction.
Yeah, and a lovely little shimmy to take him past the first defender, and then just hindered him in his next movement. So free kick.
It's quite gloomy till these lights take effect, isn't it?
It's as if you're an Olympic fan in the moment.
Barrow over the ball. Options are plenty to aim for the midfield playmaker, and he swings it in, but only as far as Jacob Cole, and that's easy for the goalkeeper, and he can get Farej off on his bike away from Piccolo. Bit of space for Tonini, couldn't pick him out though. It was a poor ball, and Sparrow gets a free kick, a foul by Goran Jozefovski, and he's going in the book as well. Took one for the team there, Goran Jozefovski, I think.
He did. Daniel Sparrow just lashed out a little bit as well, so he's been fortunate the referee didn't see it.
Dodged a couple today, Daniel Sparrow.
Yeah, but Goran Jozefovski knew exactly what he was doing then. He was stopping that. But the break was on Farage, needed to pick Tonini out, and they were in for a second.
Megic finds Faust. Looks to take on Farage. He's passing far too easily. Helped out by Guerrero, who gets there ahead of Kofi Danning. Megic's ball to Janchevsky. Ulrich. There'll be no panic from this Canberra Olympic team, though, Steve.
No.
There's plenty of time for them to sort this out.
I mean, the silver lining, I guess, with the goal is that it came early in the second half and gives them plenty of time to recover.
Faust got there ahead of Gurney, who helped him out of play. Jacob Cole won't be in any rush. As I said, that's Mark Shields' first goal since round 14 when he scored that penalty against the Riverina. That'd be a monkey off his back as well.
Oh, he'd be delighted. He'd be delighted. Because he had a chance earlier in the half, didn't he? That he didn't take. So when you're going through a run of as a striker where you're not scoring, you don't care how they come, as long as you get one.
Balcony United have got one in the qualification final over on the other pitch.
Makes it 2-0, yeah?
2-0, I think, yeah. Long way back from Canberra FC. Smashed forward by Kelly. Darwich is the willing runner. De Felipe was there to hook it clear. Kelly again. Goes shorter this time to Sparrow. He's robbed by Jozefovski. Here's Farage. Looked for Goran Jozefovski and the old legs weren't going to make that. Here's Megic. Ball forward to Danning. Sparrow with him, beautifully done by Kofi Danning. Sparrow tries to get away from Guerrero. Has a couple of nibbles at him. And the Argentinian does well. Sees off Daniel Sparrow. Just a glimpse there of Kofi Danning's ability, though. And Olympic will be wanting to see a little bit more of that in the final third.
Yeah. Once again, you see the enthusiasm of Sparrow, but unfortunately, in the last couple of involvements he's had, he's just no final product. He's one too many touches, he's turned into traffic, he's run into cul-de-sacs, and at the moment, going forward, he's not actually helping the Olympic cause much.
Cole's goal kick finds Danning. Shields robs him. Snuck up on the blind side. Faust. Popovic. Skins now Aguero. But there's Gurney coming across to help out.
They've worked well together. They've covered each other really well.
It's been noticeable, hasn't it, the whole game, that the way they've covered each other once they've lost possession. Here's Faust lifting it in. Janchevsky arriving, and he's good at this. And Cole decides to safety first approach and tips it over the bar. We've seen Andrew Janchevsky score a few of those this year.
Absolutely. He snuck in there at the back post, and it's a free header. He didn't get a lot of power on it, but it was a sort of cross where he had to generate his own power. And in the end, Cole's taken the safety first approach and just tipped it over the bar.
Danning with the corner. Swings it in. Good corner too. Looking for Ulrich. And he must have got a fair piece of that because it's a goal kick.
It looked a corner, but Nathan Shakespeare and the linesman got it between them.
Half an hour to go. Tigers 1-0 up. Mark Shields' goal 6 minutes into the second half, breaking that goal drought which had lasted 456 minutes. And I think Gabby Wilk would have been happy if I'd told him 455 minutes ago that they would have gone that far long without a goal, but got one at this stage.
Absolutely.
Here's Darwich looking to spin Janchevsky. Now here's a chance for Piccolo. Picks out the pass to Danning. Not much moving ahead. There is now. Good ball in. Mike Fall for Piccolo. Didn't quite work, but the youngsters looking to combine. Now here's a chance on the break for Tigers with Jared Tonini. Only Shields ahead of him. Support arriving now from Cam and Farage. But Tonini goes alone and wins his team a throw-in, rather.
Yes, it's opening up now, isn't it? With the 1-0 scoreline in favour of Tigers, Olympic have really got to start pushing as we approach the sort of last 25, 30 minutes.
Ulrich has time. Just to send it forward. There's no one up there in a blue shirt, though. It's easy for Guerrero to send it back from whence it came. Magic. Sparrow's touch. Popovic. Challenge again from Guerrero, and Keita comes away with it, using his strength, looks to slide it to Shields. Stuck between his feet, unfortunately for Tigers. And here comes Kelly at the other end. It's definitely opening up now. He's past Jozovsky. Break is on. The bank of 4 for Tigers is back, hoping to stop this.
Yeah.
And they stop it by the only way they know how on that occasion. Jose Di Felipe, and he is going to be the latest
I think that's
to
harsh.
see yellow.
I think that's harsh. I think he's won attack at the ball reasonably cleanly there, but he's overrun it. He's got himself into a position where he's in two minds, didn't know what to do next, and kept running with it. And the defender stuck a foot in, and unfortunately, the referee has seen a free kick.
5 players in the referee's notebook now. 3 from Tigers, 2 from Canberra Olympic. Is this within shooting range? Jay Kelly over the top of it. Might fancy his luck from here. It's a long way out. And Jacob Cole is an imposing target in that goal.
Yeah, it's a long way out on that angle.
Popovic and Magic targets at the far post. Ulrich a bit closer infield. Danning will end up around the penalty spot when this is lifted in, as will Daniel Sparrow. Will Kelly go for goal? He does, you know, but nowhere near good enough to test Jacob Cole. And another wasted opportunity. I think the pattern of the game is probably set, Steve, for the last 25, 26 minutes or so. It's going to be
attack v defence, and Tigers looking to counter-attack.
100%. And if you're a Tigers fan, strap yourself in for this ride, because defensively they're going to need to.
If you're a Tigers fan and for a part of the Tigers setup, this could not have been scripted any better. This is perfect scenario for them.
Cole launches it forward. Janchevsky beats Keita in the air, but it's only as far as Shields. Keita has been excellent in the middle of the park. Makes you wonder why he's not been there throughout the whole season.
Definitely his best spot.
De Felipe. Bit of a tired looking pass, that one. Keita's won it back again, though. Great strength from the midfielder. Tanini tried to return the compliment. Farej. Sparrow ran into the referee there. Nathan Shakespeare, that's terrible. That's a yellow card offence for sure.
I think he's played him off the ball there. Eh? He's taken him down off the ball.
He's got to give himself a card. It's the worst challenge we've seen all day, and we've seen 5 cards.
I wonder how Daniel Sparrow didn't see the only person in all black.
Here is Sparrow. Crunches into the challenge with Keita. Piccolo comes away with it. Popovic's touch. Getting a move on here. Piccolo's ball wide. Darwich. And he's wasted that.
Yeah, went the wrong way. Went the wrong way. Needed to come this way. Needed to come to his right instead of playing Darwich in. But
signs of life.
Yeah, absolutely. They're making a change.
You're going to see Seb Woods, I think it is, and it's Piccolo.
Yeah, I think he's probably run his race, young Piccolo.
And Seb Woods, 2 goals this season, one of which came against the Tigers at Nijong Oval. His first at this level. Off to Celtic at the end of the month.
Oh, he's not happy about being taken off either. Had a bit of a tainty.
Piccolo.
Yeah.
Here's Seb Woods. I said off to Celtic for a bit of a
him and Jake
Garner. And Jake Garner, who played in the under-20s for Belconnen earlier today. Janchevsky wins the header. Popovic's touch. Look for Danning, but Guerrero was there, and that's over the top from Nick Popovic. It's not a good tackle. And there's a second yellow here, and Nick Popovic is off.
And he can have no argument, I'm afraid. It's a terrible challenge. I don't think he meant it. It was just clumsy, but it's a really, really poor challenge.
And the momentum swings ever further in the Tigers' direction. Nick Popovic gets a second yellow card. And not only have they lost their top goal scorer, they've now lost their second top goal scorer.
And maybe both of them, well, certainly one of them for next week as well.
Well, it's going to be a mandatory 1-match ban for Nick Popovic.
Yes.
Whether that's this week or the grand final, we wait and see. Not great, though, is it? for Canberra Olympics' point of view. I mean, Garland United will be rubbing their hands with glee if they're watching. Playing an Olympic team if they're going to face Olympic without Dominici, without Popovic.
It's a different proposition altogether, isn't it?
Now against 10, it plays even further into the Tigers' hands. They don't need to go looking for a second.
No.
They've got half a half to see out for Gabby Wilkside to pull off what would be a bit of a shock. And Nathan Shakespeare left with no choice, really, was it? It was almost, to be honest, the challenge could have been a straight red in its own.
It would certainly require further sanction. That's the...
Well, Shields is on a yellow card now as well. He's got to watch it. There's 4 Tigers players that walk in the tightrope for the last 22 minutes. Good win from Shields. Medjic keeps it in.
Well, nobody knows why.
Seemed a bit silly. Could have left it for his goalkeeper. Well, we know Olympic are made of champion stuff. We're going to see it now, Steve, if they're going to come into this. They need someone to step up. Is it going to be Sparrow? Bursts away. Well, the challenge from Guerrero. It falls for Woods, and here's another card. And it's now Guerrero who gets one. His becomes the 5th Tiger to get a card. Wasn't a pretty challenge. Got what it deserved, but there's no need for this, really, is there? He's got the yellow card. Sparrow's up having a word with him as well now.
I mean,
it was cynical, wasn't it? But
yeah, no, but it was the referee's dealt with it.
Exactly.
I mean, what do they expect the referee to do more than that? I mean,
it wasn't a red card by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
You wouldn't think so, would you? Plenty of players back. It was cynical. It broke up the attack. It got what it deserved. I would be amazed if in the final 20 minutes, Steve, someone's not joining Nick Popovic in the changing room.
Well, the way it's going, it's an odds-on certainty.
5 Tigers players walking that tightrope. Nathan Medjic is the other one on a yellow card out there that needs to be careful. It's a free kick in a good position. Kofi Danning's behind it. Eli Darwich is there as well. Now, we saw at the start of the season Kofi Danning score a free kick from a similar kind of position in the Federation Cup victory over Queanbeyan City. What would Frank Casey and his team give for a repeat from this range?
Well, I think he's going near post.
The man with the A-League experience has been given the opportunity from the set piece. It's Kofi Danning. Jacob Cole will need to watch this the whole way, you would think. Will he go for goal? He will, but it's poor. Straight into the wall. Got it back again, Danning. And Tigers give away another free kick. Hussein Farej is penalised this time. Meanwhile, Goran Jozovski's down. I think he wore that one in a place where we won't like to talk about, Steve.
That's in a very, very tender spot.
There was a shout of get up from the crowd in front of us. I don't really think they know where that struck him. Otherwise, there'd be an element of sympathy, I would imagine.
Yeah. Couple of extra lumps in his throat now.
Just had a count. Both still there. Kofi Danning with another free kick from a wider angle this time. This is going to have to be a delivery. Sparrow in there with a shock of blonde's hair. Can Danning pick out someone in blue? His team needs something. 20 minutes to go. Danning swings it in. Cole comes, doesn't get there. Andrei Janchevsky did and may have equalised. Real chance goes begging.
Well, keeper's in no man's land. He's come, he's flapped, he's missed it. Free header, open goal. You've got to hit the target. And that's a golden opportunity to get back into the game, even with 10 men.
For a player that's got half a dozen goals this year as well, Janchevsky, and more than a few with his head, that is a glorious chance. De Felipe looks for Shields down the middle. Medjic got the touch. Cam, who's been peripheral to the second half.
He has, but he's sort of, he's done a job for him, hasn't he?
Tanini goes past the challenge. Medjic's across to stop the run. Janchevsky wins it back. He's offered that support to Shields that he's been missing the last few weeks.
And it's given the Tigers something to think about, other than Shields.
Good touch from Gurney. Solid challenge from Sparrow. We're going to come back for the original foul, though. Faust had a little tug on Gurney.
Again, silly free kick. It's killing him. Just plays straight into Tigers' hands.
Tony Metafari is about to join us. He's got the pace to exploit anything on the break. Who's coming off? It looks like Cam.
Yeah, he might have just done enough for them.
Well, they asked him to do a job, the young forward, and he's done well. He's done well.
10 out of 10 for his effort.
Tony Matafari has blistering pace, and I'm sure we're going to see it on the break later in the half if needed. De Felipe with this free kick for the Tigers, a rare excursion into Olympic territory. Swings it in, should be easily dealt with. Sparrow. First touch is good, second one's a little heavy. Couldn't quite keep it in. Time the enemy of Canberra Olympic. And the Tigers will love this final 18 minutes or so to just keep ticking away. Keita. Gurney, who's another that came into the side today and has done brilliantly.
Has done really well.
His Shields looking to take advantage of any uncertainty in defence. Darwich on the break. Seb Woods hasn't been able to get involved just yet. Undoubted quality though, and he's closed down De Felipe there. Have Tigers got everything left in the tank, having to defend for so much of this half? They've won themselves a throw.
No, they haven't. It's going the other way.
The Tigers have, yeah. I think Nathan Shakespeare's given it to Kuma.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Overruled Greg Taylor on the far side. Well, few would have predicted this. Shields heads it onwards towards Tanini.
I'm doing great today. I got them both wrong.
Well, the incredible thing with the makeshift look of this Tiger side when we saw it, you just couldn't see anything but an Olympic win. But that's why we love football so much. Here's Keita. Tanini under pressure from Woods.
Look, we still might get an Olympic win yet, but gee, they've got a mountain to climb now.
Without their two main strikers and with 10 players, don't forget, Woods looks for Faust. He's bursting to keep it in play, and I think he has just. Fouled by Gurney. Free kick. Only one of the back four not to get a card, Michael Gurney.
So far.
Maybe he's feeling left out. Faust goes short. Magic. They need a leader, Olympic. They need someone to step up. Janchevsky. Easily past a tired-looking Keita. Faust. Good delivery. Cole comes, and that's what you want from your goalkeeper.
Nobody in the box anyway. Nobody.
Happy to just milk the seconds, Jacob Cole. Bit too early to start the time wasting.
Well, we've already seen one person. Shields got booked for it.
Tanini launches one forward towards Matafari. He'll definitely hustle to get away from Faust, and he's done brilliantly to win the ball. Not only that, he's found Farage into the penalty area. Shields was waiting. It's come for Mark Shields. Still going a rather acrobatic dive, and he's going to go in the book here, and he's going to be sent off. Mark Shields, for a dive, gets a second yellow card, and we'll finish with 10 apiece. Well, well, well.
That's an interesting one.
Was it a dive as such?
Well, there was no contact, but just because he goes down doesn't necessarily mean he's trying to get a penalty either. I mean, he just... I mean, let's not be naive. Players do look for penalties, and unfortunately for Shields, Nathan Shakespeare seeing that a deliberate attempt to sort of deceive him, and we end up with 10 apiece. Brings Olympic back into the game a little bit.
There was no claim, was there? I mean, it didn't look good, but it's not really in his nature either, is it, Mark Shields?
Well, not that we know of.
I could say, Steve, I've known him for many years, and I haven't seen him dive like that before, so maybe the occasion is getting to people.
Yeah.
As it is, it's 10 v 10 for the final quarter of an hour. Does that give Olympic away? And now Gurney's probably going to get a card here, is he?
Yep.
He is. He joins. He's the latest. Bingo across the back four. Connect four, I think you call that, is it?
Oh, dear.
Every single one of the back four is now in the book, as is Goran Jozefovski, as is Nathan Magic. Nick Popovic's been sent off. Mark Shields been sent off. Give you a list of players that haven't been carded.
Yeah.
And we still got quarter of an hour to play. We did mention, as I said about 15 minutes ago, I'd be amazed if somebody else wasn't going to get sent off. I didn't actually think it would be up that end of the park and it would be a striker.
No. But how prescient of you. If this keeps up, they'll have to bring the goal up to halfway and just play five-a-side.
Well, Olympic with Danning swinging it in.
That's awful.
Jozefowski's clearance only as far as Woods. Dances his way past a couple, wants a return ball. Seb Woods into the penalty, the youngster with a chance, and he's dragged it wide.
Has to score.
Real opportunity for Woods. They carved them open.
What a fantastic run. A great 1-2, working with Orlick to actually create the opportunity. And once he...
Jacob Cole. That is a full house of the whole defence. Keita, Tanini, Faraj.
What is that for?
Time wasting, I guess. Or maybe he said something.
He didn't kick the ball out.
Maybe he's talked himself into a card. I'll tell you what, Michael Keita, Jared Tanini, Hussein Faraj, take a bow.
You're the
only ones that haven't seen yellow. Yet. Never seen anything like it, to be honest. That's 6 yellow cards, 7 if you count Shields and a red for Tigers.
Yes, do you think they've got a problem with discipline?
Well, they might question the refereeing. Slid in Faraj. He's allowed to do that. He's not got a card.
Certainly, I think that's a harsh call on Jacob Cole. He went to get the ball.
I think he must have said something. That's all I can think of. It must have been some words. But I thought words were 10 minutes in the bin.
That's right, if it's dissent.
Well, it is the goalkeeper. Anyway, we'll try and keep an eye on the action. That's what we're here for. Kelly finds Woods, who wasted that chance. He did brilliantly to get himself into the position, to be fair, the young lads.
Yeah, he showed all the qualities that people have been talking about, but apart from the finish.
Megic, switch of play. Finds Darwich. He'll take on Spaseski, and he's got past him, and a chance here to run into the area. He's got Danning in there, he's got Sparrow in there, and it's sliced over his own goal somehow from Michael Gurney. When it's your day, it's your day.
That is some clearance.
How has he not turned that in his own goal?
I've no idea. I mean, Michael doesn't know.
Jacob Cole gave him a pat on the head. Danger's not averted yet. Kofi Danning with the corner. It's been a crazy 5 or 6 minutes here. Olympic piling on the pressure. 10v10. Swings it to the far post. Ulrich was there. It's volleyed back into whence it came. Cole goes up. He's dropped it under pressure and fouled. Is a decision by Shakespeare. Janchevsky and Sparrow were both there. All of that, Steve. We've still got 10 minutes to play.
That's at least 2 cards.
Well, Jacob Cole's got to get the shift on, otherwise he'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Wonder if Mitch Kay's warming up for Gabby Wilkes' team. Cole brings Faraj into play. Sparrow looks to close it down as quick as he can. It's a good ball in the circumstances. One for Madafari to chase. Megic is back there. Madafari not giving him a moment's peace. Concedes a free kick.
Play on, for God's sake.
The crowd baying for cards every time someone goes down now.
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? I mean, he's got a lot of decisions right today, so we won't be too critical, but he's been a little handy with the cards.
Ulrich finds Kelly. 10 minutes to go. Woods to Kelly again. Darwich off ahead of him. A lot of space on this near side for Faust if they can switch the play. Here's Woods bursting forward. He's got pace. Might come for Sparrow, and he'll send it this wide to Faust. Dinks one in towards Woods. Danning's there as well. Comes on the far post for Darwich. In on goal. Chance here, and Cole denies him. It's a corner.
First touch from Darwich just took him a little too far towards the goal line. Otherwise, a really good move from Olympic. And Woods has really made a difference since he's come on. He's actually raised the standard in terms of distribution. His touch has been good. He's made great runs forward.
Danning with the corner. Swings it to the far post. Janchevsky arriving and off the line by Jared Tanini. Was that the moment? A good header from Andrei Janchevsky, and Jared Tanini comes to the rescue.
Well, that's why you put people on the post from corners, and he's just saved his team from some possible extra time.
Woods, when he's fouled, another free kick. Olympic upping the tempo. Kelly into the challenge. Woods is brushed off it by Keita. Madafari finds Keita again. Now here's chance for Tanini to run. and bursts forward. The challenge from Janchevsky brings a yellow card again, I think. Yet another player in the book, Andrei Janchevsky, the latest.
Surely to God he won the ball.
I thought he won the ball from this distance.
I mean, the linesman has put his flag up straight away, and it looked like a genuinely world-class tackle.
Definitely looked like a good tackle from here. We're not the man in the middle, though, Steve. And
no, thank
Nathan
God for
Shakespeare's given the free kick. Fair to say Andrei Janchevsky didn't agree, but considering the amount that's gone the other way.
Yeah. I mean, it was the linesman that gave. The assistant referee put his flag up straight away. So he's seen something that we didn't.
I think we're in for a feisty last 8 minutes of football here at the AIS. Free kick, which Furej will look to deliver, swings it in towards goal himself, and Rory Larkin, who's had very little to do in the second half, except pick the ball out of his net, and that's the most important part. Megic brings it forward. Faust. Janchevsky, whose header that was brilliantly turned away by Tonini. Darwich. Kelly. Have Olympic got something in the locker left? Woods. Got away from Keita, who wins the ball. It's a very similar challenge.
Yeah, tell me the difference. If you can explain the difference,
write
please
it in on a postcard, and we'll put you in a competition. 7 minutes to go. Can Olympic score? They usually do.
Yeah, well.
And if they want to keep this game alive, they need to.
Yeah.
Guerrero's header all the way through to Rory Larkin. It eats up a few more seconds. Ulrich. Janchevsky. They have asked questions, Olympic, but in the main, the Tigers have answered them. Darwich. Overlapping run from Kelly. Looks to slide in into the middle, but there's Di Felipe, this centre-back pairing that Gabby Wilker stumbled upon.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Full credit to them.
We're going to get another change for the Tigers. Is it Bojan Taseski, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so.
Goran Jozovovsky, who's one of those on a yellow card. So he'll be able to play next week or the week after.
Interesting change this, though, because he's done extremely well in the middle of the park.
Have Olympic got something in the locker with time running away? Talk of running away, here's Tonini bursting forward. He's going to have a few more of these up his sleeve, I think, before the end of the night.
That'll do from a Tigers point of view. Just get it away from goal.
Woods, who certainly made a difference since he came on, had a good chance.
Yeah, should have done better with it.
Credited it himself. You're not going to blame the teenager, though, are you, Steve? There's been far more experienced players out there that haven't stepped up to the plate so far.
Yeah, very true, very true. But he probably should have done better with that chance, and he'll know that himself.
5 minutes to go. Faust. Furej helps it forward. If you just tuned in, you've missed quite a second half. Red cards, yellow cards, cards of all colour floating around.
Give us a sin bin. Last 2 minutes, a sin bin.
Larkin launches one forwards. Gurney wins it, but unfortunately for him, comes off the back of Faust. But there he is again, giving that wholehearted commitment that we know he possesses. Guerrero loses out to Danning. Is there something? Sparrow tries to get away from Madafari. Past one and then wins his team a throw. We're into that final 5 minutes. Megic. Sparrow. Gurney's there again. He's won a free kick. Just putting his body on the line.
He's played very well. Just played to his strengths like we were suggesting in the first half he should. He's just got in the way of things, defended first, just made sure that he wasn't beaten one-on-one, won his little challenges, and it's helped to set up a platform that might just see Tigers in the grand final.
Ball is at the right end of the pitch as far as Tigers are concerned. Megic's going to let it roll out for a goal kick. Rory Larkin is going to have to get a shift on. Goes wide to Darwich. Janchevsky. Can he pick the strings? He's come closest. Looks for Kelly. Good firm challenge from Spaseski. Janchevsky. Megic. Faust has got a heap of space here. Can he pick a quality delivery? Good ball in towards Danning and Jacob Cole. Good piece of goalkeeping. Just got there ahead of the forward. Good ball in that from Faust.
It is, but he needed a run across the front of the keeper and didn't get it. Nobody attacked that near post the way they should. It was a good move forward, but
great ball, Spaseski, and he might get Tonini in behind here. He's got Madafari outside him, and Tonini went on his own. I don't think he saw Tony Madafari, who had loads of room.
Yeah.
And Olympic get away with one. Megic finds Woods. Off he goes, direct runner again. Looks for Danning, good ball too by the youngster. And Danning is beaten off it by Jose Di Felipe. Needs to be stronger in possession. Here's Farej. Madafari, nobody up front in a Tigers shirt to help him. And it's going to come straight back via Darwich. Kelly. Woods. Good ball as well to switch play. Faust. Sparrow. Running at them through two. Sparrow into the penalty area. Fires it at goal. And Cole is there again, standing firm and strong. 2.5 minutes left of the 90.
Good run from Daniel Sparrow, but once again, wrong option at the end of it. I think if he pulls that square, there's a real chance of getting an equaliser.
You wouldn't write them off, would you? Even with so little time to go. Ulrich. Great ball to Kelly. Taking on Spaseski. Wasn't the ball he needed, but Di Felipe was there. It's helped forward, but only as far as Woods. Sparrow. Steps away from the challenger Farej. Faust. Still going Nick Faust. Forced backwards though to Megic. Switch out towards where Darwich was waiting, and Tonini got a knee on it and will chase his own clearance. I tell you what, if Olympic do score, Tigers might be out on their feet. They have defended like Trojans out there.
Absolutely. The boots will feel like they're made of lead if they have to go to extra time.
Megic. Woods can't get there, and it's whicked forward by Noel Guerrero. Madafari will chase. And he's still chasing. And Ulrich's giving it away, and here's Tonini.
Play him.
Looks for Madafari. We're into the final minute of the 90. And Tigers are very close to what would be an upset win. And they've won themselves a corner, which is almost as good as a goal at this stage.
They'll take that. I mean, this will be a little sort of keepy-offy in the corner. Just to run time down. It'll take them 20 minutes to take this.
We saw 6 minutes of stoppage time in the elimination final. We'd be surprised if we don't get something close to that. The amount of stoppages we've had in this half. Tigers swinging into the penalty area. And here's a chance for Keita. And he could have sealed it there and then.
Wow.
It's come off his shoulder.
It has, and he should have done better. But what on earth were they thinking about doing? I mean, just keep it in the corner.
Why have they done that? Here's Megic. Will Olympic make them pay it? Sparrow into the penalty area. Fires it across goal, and Cole collects it gratefully. We're into the first minute of stoppage time. Sparrow's down.
I think he's absolutely exhausted.
Cole just launches it into the night sky. Anywhere will do. Megic, almost in slow motion, looks for Faust, and he's not found him.
No, that's poor. Really poor.
He had acres of time to pick the pass as well. Tetseski. And Gurney wins another throw and goes down with cramp. And I would actually say he's not faking this, because he has worked the proverbials off there, hasn't he? And Daniel Sparrow doesn't really need to get involved, does he?
No.
Nathan Shakespeare will add this on, no doubt, and I am convinced this is actual genuine cramp for Michael Gunn. He's not played much first-team football, if at all, this season.
No, he's been on the bench a few times for him, but he's had a couple of send-offs that have cost him dearly in terms of his potential to play first grade. But he has been a regular in the back full for the under-20s.
And it is cramp, that's all it is. He's just seized up.
Yeah.
Will be a sore one for him.
But surely to God the referee can ask him to get off the pitch.
Well, I'm sure he will. Here he goes. He just rolls himself. I could have done that 2 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
Well, we've played officially 1 minute and 30 seconds of time added on, but there will be plenty more, you would think. It is... I can't even remember what the decision is now. Is it a free kick?
Throwing.
Jared Tonini's going to take it, whatever it is. Looks like it is a free kick. No, it's a throw, isn't it? Felt like it's so long ago. Tonini with the throw. Magic's going to have to go back to Larkin to start again, and Olympic are fast running out of time and ideas. Darwich. Good pressure from Farej. Taseski wins it in midfield, does well. Ulrich, Woods. Nice change of direction. Goes past two, and then Guerrero just thumps it forwards, and he's going to need Rory Larkin to chase this. 2.5 minutes of time. There's a sub that's been made. This is Nico Blaskovic, I think.
Yeah, Gurney off.
For Gurney.
Last chance to learn. Olympic, got to get the ball forward, get it into good areas.
Good win from Blaskovic. And Keita thumps it up the other end of the park. We're in 3 minutes of stoppage time have been completed. Darwich. Change of direction to Nathan Megic. Ball down the line. Danning. Guerrero's been there with him, as he has been the whole game. It will be a throw to Canberra Olympic. Is this the final chance? Nathan Megic has got a massive throw on him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he might launch this into the penalty area.
Well,
everybody in a blue shirt is up except for Darwich.
And he might as well go. There's nobody to defend. He might as well go.
Woods is peeling off as well. That's a huge throw from Megic into the area. Comes off Guerrero. Spanked clear by Madafari. Darwich lifts it back into the danger zone. Nodded clear by Spaseski. Another look at the watch from Nathan Shakespeare. 4 minutes of added time have been played.
Game over on the other pitch. Belconnor through to the grand final.
Janchevsky gets the 1-2. Still going. Prods it forward. It's smacked clear this time by Di Felipe. Only as far as Woods playing as a temporary centre-back. Megic, who's still out on this near side. Too easily away from Blaskovic. Ball forward's no good, though. That one's up towards us. Time very much against Olympic. We have played 4.5 minutes of stoppage time. Megic has the ball in his hands again. Flings it into the penalty. It's a good one too. Ulrich's touch. Danning was there. Noel Guerrero got the touch. Di Felipe, I think that was. He just spanked it clear. Or was it Spaseski? I think it was Spaseski, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Megic again reloads it into the danger spot. Keita might pick this out of the sky and just smack it up towards us again. Anywhere will do for Tigers FC. Megic, one more chance perhaps. We don't have a fourth official's board here, so who knows how long he's playing. Megic again, another dangerous one. Easily won by Taseski, but at the expense of a corner. Rory Larkin will go forwards. Rory Larkin into the penalty area. Everybody in an Olympic shirt in there, everybody in a Tigers shirt back defending. This is surely the last chance. Kofi Danning to swing it in. Can he find a blue shirt towards the far post? It's one. It's pinging around the area. It's going to fall for Darwich. Lines one up from distance, and that might be that. That is that. Tigers FC, with one of the biggest rearguard actions since the Alamo, have somehow held on. They scored a goal on the break with Mark Shields, and they have defended heroically, Steve.
This has been one of the great upsets, I think, in recent past. Nobody gave, certainly I didn't, give Tigers a chance today with the lineup that they had, the makeshift back four that they had to put on. But how resilient were they in making sure that Olympic, who didn't perhaps bring their A game today, but couldn't get into the game, and really, on the defensive effort alone, you've got to give Kuma, the Tigers, full credit, 100%. Congratulations to them. They've just hung on and hung on and hung on, and in the end, the 1-0 result stands.
Mark Shields with the goal in the second half. They will play the grand final in 2 weeks. They'll be without Darren Bailey, who's still suspended, of course. They'll be without Mark Shields, who's suspended. What we have got, Steve, is next weekend an absolute thriller between Canberra Olympic and Gungahlin United, two sides that will go toe-to-toe, and we know, can almost guarantee there will be goals and lots of them.
Well, that's right, but you've also got the possibility of Dominici missing from Olympic with an injury. Certainly Popovic will be missing with the red card. So Gungahlin licking their lips at the prospect of taking on an understrength Olympic team and perhaps getting themselves a grand final spot of their own.
That's for them. This is for now. Huge congratulations to Gabby Wilk and a makeshift Tigers team. When I saw his board in the changing room before kick-off and you're looking at that defensive lineup, you're thinking, well, he's put the two Argentinians in there. They haven't played there all season. He's got a left-back who's not played in first grade all season. He's got a right-back who's been a centre-back all season. He's got a centre-field pairing that hasn't played together all year. And he's got an 18-year-old striker up front with his other striker, with his leading goal scorer. You just thought, how is this going to happen? And out there, they've done absolutely brilliantly. They've worked for each other, they've worked for the shirt, and they've got the results.
And that's the difference. At the end of the day, when they had to cover for each other, they did. When they were under the pump, they found that little bit of extra effort. They needed to get a tackle in, they did. A header in, they did. If they needed to win the second ball, they did. And they were just far too good defensively for an Olympic side that has a much vaunted attacking structure, and unfortunately for them today it just didn't happen. But congratulations to Tigers. Olympic live again. They go through it again to next week, and they've got the wood on Gungahlin this year, so Gungahlin will be looking to sort of turn that round. But like we said, different game next week, and it's a knockout. You don't get the second chance next week, so you're either winning or you're going home.
455 minutes without a goal, but they got the one that mattered. Mark Shields, 6 minutes into the second half, prodding in from close range. It is the one that sends the Tigers to the grand final. It is the one that consigns Canberra Olympic to the preliminary final. You can catch all that action with us here next week. Thanks, Steve, for your help all day today. It's been a fantastic day's doubleheader here at the AIS. Tigers FC advance to the grand final. The final score, Canberra Olympic 0, Tigers FC 1.